So, before we start this episode, not so quick update from my last one here. For those who saw my last episode where I talked about the whole TikTok thing and said that I'd update you guys, well, it took nearly a week and a half, but I finally got a response from TikTok about my account, and it was basically just an automated message that was like, hey, sorry for keeping you waiting, but we're receiving a ton of messages right now. So, about verifying your age, you can simply just do this, and then that, and then with your account, you can. Yeah, see, that's the issue. I don't have an account anymore. TikTok suspended it because they thought I was too young, which I'm still not. So, I guess to keep it shorter than it already isn't, I'm just not going back to TikTok after that one. I've got my accounts lost too many times, and I'm sure that it's not going to make a difference if one measly person leaves the already gigantic platform that I did kind of hear a few things about, so I don't know if it's, getting banned or not. I heard something about that. Anyways, moving on. So, yes, I'm finally back from my break. I think I've had enough time to just, compose myself and chill, and I'm ready to start making videos again. So, on that note, hyperfixations. One moment, you're hyper-focused on a specific TV show or character from that TV show for like a solid week, if not longer, and then boom, it's just gone like that, soon to come back at the most random time, or just gone with the wind and lost to space and time forever. For me, there are a few things that I've been hyperfixating on for a while now, as well as a few things that I've sort of, well, stopped fixating on after a while. What makes you lose the hyperfocus on this thing? I'm not too sure. I'm not even too sure what makes you start the hyperfocus on this thing. I mean, one day I stumble upon a webtoon about four roommates that live together next to a wacky evil landlord, and suddenly it becomes my whole personality and the main thing I've been hyperfixated on for like the last 4-ish years. Meanwhile, I suddenly become interested in superheroes and supervillains while even coming up with a rough design of like a villain costume just for me to lose interest in it and become fixated or like interested in something completely different. And sometimes I'll just see something or like get reminded or hear about something, and I'll just look so far into that, boom, new thing I'm fixating on. I mean, I was watching a stream a few weeks ago or so, right? Like on YouTube, and someone in the chat mentioned hoops and yo-yo. That rang a bell to me so hard. And like there was even fan art on the stream afterwards of like these characters, and I'm like, that is so familiar. Where do I know this from? What the heck? So I looked it up after the stream, right? And sure enough, it was those little cat and bunny characters from the Hallmark greeting cards that were everywhere in my childhood. Seeing those two wacky characters brought back so many memories, and I started to look more into things. I saw a video that was someone talking about the history of Hoops and Yo-Yo, which then led me to watching a Hoops and Yo-Yo Christmas special that was briefly mentioned in the video, and then I spent a good, 5 or so minutes just scrolling through a bunch of Hoops and Yo-Yo stuff on Google Images. And, not only the Hoops and Yo-Yo thing, but, a bit ago, I used to do AI covers before I stopped, right? And I got a request asking if I could do a song from a band I've never heard of. So I looked it up on YouTube, the song being Life of the Party by the Planet Smashers, by the way. Find the song and think, dang, dude, where's this song been hiding on me? I wonder if these guys have any other bangers. So I listened to Unstoppable and a few others and was like, yup, new favorite music to listen to here. Also, I told a friend to check out the Planet Smashers a bit after that, and they responded to me like, oh hey, they have records you can buy, right? I have one to go with my Lemon Demon ones. So naturally, I had to look that up, and sure enough, I was already planning to save up for a record player because of the same friend who told me that, but I was saving up even harder after that one. And that's not the only songs either. La-Di-Da by Barracuda played at the end of this web series episode I was watching, and it nearly became my new favorite song. I love that style of music, and it's just catchy as heck. And speaking of catchy as heck, this one song was used in a video bumper for a live stream series I like, and the tune immediately got stuck in my head. So, after me spending way too long just trying to find it, I found that it was Just Like That by Meg. Now, moving away from random people giving me things to hyperfixate on, let's talk about just music in general. See, I can listen to the same song over and over without getting tired or annoying of it. If it's a song I like, mind you. I remember a few years ago when the Enderman rap by Element Animation came out. Someone had made a 1-hour version of it, and I was legit just sitting there watching that for nearly half an hour, just vibing. I'm not too sure if listening to the same song on repeat is considered hyperfixating on it. I'm pretty sure it's a form of stimming, though, which, me stimming is just a whole other thing here. So, moving on from that, hyperfixating on food. Not too sure if that's a thing, or what you would call eating the same thing for weeks straight, other than unhealthy or something. But, yeah. See, I've been called a picky eater as a kid, because I never really ate anything new, and I rarely liked to eat more than 5 different things. Even still, I mostly just eat chicken and mac and cheese half the time, because mac and cheese especially is like a comfort food to me. I know that I can always eat mac and cheese and not get sick of it or anything. Also, on the topic of food and whatnot, I hate food with different textures. Like, if I'm eating my mac and cheese, and I feel some other texture in it other than the texture of my mac and cheese, I will most likely gag or nearly vomit out my food. Like, back to the whole hyperfixation thing. I don't know if that's what you'd call it for this, mind you, but for the past week or so, I've been mostly just eating Mr. Noodles with Cheese Whiz. I mean, I've had other things too, don't get me wrong, but like, mostly just the Mr. Noodles and Cheese Whiz. And hyperfixating can suck at times too, cause like, I'll get so interested in something and hyper-focus on it to the point of looking into it a ton, doodling stuff related to it, maybe even buying a bunch of stuff related to it too. And sometimes it'll stick with me, like, the roommates thing that's taken up nearly half of my bedroom wall. But then, sometimes even after spending all the research and junk on something, it'll poof. And just like that, it's gone. Not interested in it anymore unless, it comes back randomly, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I get that hardly anyone watches this podcast, but like, if there's anyone watching this that knows more about this sort of thing, could you, maybe tell me what it is exactly? Like, what is it in the brain that makes you randomly lose interest in something once you've spent all your time focusing on it like that? I'd really like to know myself, because, like, I have ADHD. Doesn't mean I know a lot about it. So, yeah. To wrap up the episode, hyperfixations. I've got 'em, and if any of you guys got 'em too, feel free to ramble about 'em in the comments. Who knows, you might give me something new to hyperfixate on. Like the hoops and yo-yo thing that I can't believe I forgot about until I got reminded of. Anyways, though, let's cue the outro now, shall we? Bye.